In today's video, I'm going to provide you guys with an update on what's happening in the Fraser Valley real estate market, everything from what sale prices are doing, the number of sales are doing, and we're also going to take a look at the number of new listings that are on the market. But before I dive into all this good stuff, I will ask if you guys are enjoying my content, please hit the like and subscribe button below. And as always, if you want to book a call with me to talk about anything real estate related, you can do so by clicking the Calendly link in the description below. So I'm going to take you guys through the latest stats package issued by the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board and go over what we're looking at in terms of the number of sales, new listings, and how that's affected the sales to active ratio, which indicates what type of market we're in, whether that be a seller's, buyer's, or balanced market. So I'm going to go over the summary here that we just got. So we can see sales here, March of just this past month, 2023, 1,550 sales. And when we compare that to March of last year, we're down 40%, which I know February there was 898 sales, so we have increased 72.6%, but February generally is a slower month. So what I've done here too is gone a step further and outlined what we can expect for other historical March months. It's always important to compare year over year because there's hotter months. To compare March to December isn't that helpful because December and August generally on record are the slowest months. So kind of like apples and oranges type thing. So I wanted to give you guys a better idea of kind of where we're at in comparison to historically where we should be at. And that also helps us understand more of what type of market we're in. So we can see here March 2023, 1,550 sales, March 2022, 2,580 sales, and the March before that was 3,167 sales. We can see that we've been on a steady decline, and before that, March 2020, which was when that pandemic happened, we can see there was only 1,359 sales. So we're kind of just above that, just to give you an idea of like how low sales are. For us to be kind of where we were during the start of a pandemic isn't great, although we are up this year. But that said, January and February are generally slower months anyhow for sales. Going back to this, we can see the other thing that's happening right now that's not great is the number of new listings is down, like substantially. I don't know where all the sellers have gone, but they're certainly not in the valley. So we can see new listings here, March 2023 compared to March 2022, we're down 44%. And again, yeah, we're up 32% from February. February is not nearly as busy historically as the month of March, so we aren't where we need to be. So just comparing the grand totals year to date, just to bring it all around circle here. So everything from January to the end of March, we've had just over 3,000 sales. Comparing that to the exact same time, so January to the end of March in 2022, like we were almost at 6,000. So we're down 46% in the number of sales. Looking at new listings, so again, from January to the end of March, we're at 6,300. Compare that to January to March of 2022, we were at 10,450. So that's down 40%. When you don't have a lot of new listings and when your sales are down that much, it prevents people from wanting to list their home because they don't have anywhere to go. So it's kind of like low inventory begets low inventory because there's just not a lot of choice this time, which is preventing them from wanting to list their home in the first place. They put their selling plans on hold, right? So that's kind of what we're seeing just as an insight. And everything is in such a seller's market right now, specifically townhomes. There's a nice graph on the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board statistics page that I wanted to share with you, and this is going over the sales to active ratio, which is another way to measure what type of a market we're in. The Fraser Valley Board likes to use sales to active ratio, but you can also use months of inventory as well. Anyway, I just want to show you guys, like, here's the peak of the market in March 2022. That's of exactly 1 year ago, and you can see that sales to active ratios for all property types, by the way, and I've got Langley, Abbotsford, Surrey, and all of the Fraser Valley Board were quite high. So again, anything over 20% when you're looking at the sales to active ratio is a seller's market. So you can see it was extremely high here, and then it did dip for quite a while. So for the last year or so, we've been hovering in more of like a balance, and in some cases, depending on what asset class you're looking at, a buyer's market. So this is the beginning of this year, and we've been on a constant incline for the sales to active ratio. Now, when I switch over to the HPI, so the benchmark pricing, we can see January here seemed to be the lowest point. And ever since then, we've been on an incline. And again, that's because there's not any new listings coming onto the market, but there's still buyer demand. So if we don't get more inventory coming onto the market, which I'm hopeful we will as we enter into Q2, I foresee that sale prices are going to continue to rise because we're constantly depleting our supply levels, and there is consumer confidence coming back into the market because buyers are starting to come off the sidelines and come back into the market, especially now that they're seeing things like the sale prices start to increase again and rates are holding. So if you guys have been watching my channel, you know that I love months of inventory because that gives us a great indication of what the absorption rate of a home is, which in turn allows us to understand if we are in a buyer's balanced or a seller's market. A seller's market is a market that favors sellers, and that's anywhere between 1 to 3 months of inventory. A balanced market is between 4 to 6 months of inventory, and that's generally one perfect house for one perfect buyer. So great conditions for both sides. And then there's also a buyer's market, which is 6+ months of inventory. So I've done up this for you guys here so we can see for the entire Fraser Valley for the month of March, there was 1,520 active detached homes on the market. Of that, 524 sold. That's giving us 2.9 months of inventory, which is a seller's market. Townhomes are very desirable right now in the real estate market. There's a ton of people wanting to upsize from their condo, and so we've seen that market take off. There was 631 active townhomes all across the Fraser Valley. Of those, 391 sold. So there's just over 1.5 months of inventory on the market, and that is a seller's market. And by the way, 1.6 months of inventory means that if no other townhomes came on the market, it would take 1.5 months to sell that home. Condos, there was just over 1,000 active listings, 491 sales, so that's giving us just over 2 months of inventory. That is a seller's market. Moving on to Langley, we had 207 active listings on the market. Of those, 107 sold, so that's 1.9 months of inventory. Again, seller's market. Townhomes, this is crazy. Like there was 104 townhomes in Langley on the market. Of that, 102 sold, so definitely a seller's market. Condos, 235 on the market, 136 sold, so 1.7 months of inventory. Again, seller's market. And looking at Surrey, so the only asset class in Surrey that's not in a seller's market, or any of these for that matter, was the detached market. So 311 active listings, 85 sold, so it's 3.6 months. Like it's kind of on the side of the sellers, but really I would classify 3.6 as more of a balanced market. So there might be some opportunity if you're looking in that area. Townhomes, again, over 2 months of inventory, so very hot market, and condos are coming in at 2.3 months. And then we've got Abbotsford here. So again, all asset classes are in the seller's market, and we've got condos really hot out there, followed by townhomes and then detached market. So everything's in a seller's market, just to give you guys some insight on what's going on in those specific areas for those specific types of property. It's not just an overview of all property types in the Fraser Valley that are seeing these trends. It's everything right now. Just talking to other realtors as well around my office and seeing what's happening out there. Multiple offers are back, and that's again because there's not a lot for people to choose from, but we're not seeing crazy over asking prices and subject free offers. Those are starting to happen in the townhome and condo market. I think still the detached market, depending where you are, is a little bit less competitive just because the price point's a lot higher, especially considering rates have gone up as much as they have over the last year. But definitely like the townhome market in particular is extremely hot right now. So those are generating multiple offers, and we are seeing sellers hold off on offers. So just kind of a heads up for a buyer just on what to expect. I hope that that doesn't continue. And that's the reason why I'm saying we need a lot more inventory, because that's not a fun market for buyers to be in. And it also prevents some sellers from moving because like, yeah, it's great. You're getting a good sale price and a lot of action, but you're going to be a buyer shortly on the other end of that, right? So like we are seeing multiple offers, but they're not what they were last year, where it was like crazy over asking, no subjects, especially with the new buyer rescission period that's been implemented by the government as of January 2023. That indicates that you can't even have a subject free offer. You have to wait 72 hours before you could even supply your deposit. So those aren't happening. There's that cooling off period. That's the same thing as the buyer rescission period, but they are still happening. So just a heads up there if you are a buyer, just to kind of expect that, depending on, of course, what you're looking for. If you guys want specific information about a certain neighborhood or asset class, please feel free to reach out. You can always click the link below in the description and book a call with me to talk about all things real estate. I'd appreciate if you guys are enjoying my content, if you could subscribe and hit that like button. Thanks again for watching, and I will talk to you soon.